So I have decided to launch an email newsletter business, and I'm doing it live and transparently in front of you all. Now, mind you, I don't know much about launching and running a newsletter business, but I am a business strategist and I do know a thing or two about running a successful business. So as I've researched this process, I've come across some giants in the newsletter business space like the Skim and the Morning Brew. And in looking through the Morning Brew's history, I see that they were started from a dorm room and recently sold to Business Insider for $75 million. It doesn't take a lot of capital to launch a newsletter business, but it does take a lot of work to stay consistent with creating content that actually engages and keeps your audience loyal. So in my research, I'm not only focusing on the large visible newsletter businesses, but I'm also looking at the slew of smaller newsletters that have come up that have been extremely successful. They've been able to get, say, 100,000, 80,000 subscribers in the past year since they've launched. So I'm also looking at reverse engineering what it is that they have done in order to gain their success so quickly. And I will be sharing it all with you transparently in a video series here on YouTube I'm calling the Road to 10K subscribers. Now, 10K is an arbitrary number, but I figure there will be a little bit of trial and error as I figure out not only how to produce the newsletter consistently, but also how to market it and build a community around it. So I'll be sharing that whole process with you. So if you're interested in seeing how the journey goes, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that video. If you're currently on my email list or you follow me on social media, you already know that I intend to release the first newsletter edition on Saturday. The newsletter is called the Off Script Weekly because I'm releasing it once a week. I know for now I'm boxing myself into that weekly release schedule, but I know that's all I can handle for now, just given everything else on my plate. If it changes in the future, so be it. We'll roll with that when it gets here. But for now, in this video, I want to share with you everything it's taken me to get to this point. I know a lot of people tend to share everything once they have arrived, once they've gained their success. And I don't think enough people are sharing what the journey looks like. So that's what I'm trying to do with this video series. So the first thing I did was ask myself 3 questions. Why am I trying to build a newsletter? Who is it for? And what is it going to be about? So I'll answer those questions for you really quickly. Now, as far as why am I trying to do this, I'm looking to build a deeper connection with the She's Off Script woman. I already know who my audience is. You guys are people who are interested in entrepreneurship, who already have a business, who are new to business building, or currently have a 9-to-5 and you're dreaming, you're on the fence about starting that business. So you follow me, you listen to my interviews with other entrepreneurs because you're looking for that inspiration. You're looking to take your next steps. And typically you'll either book a clarity session with me or you'll enter one of my courses or programs in order to start your business. So I know who it is that I'm working with. But as far as building a deeper relationship with that She's Off Script woman, it's really important to me as I build a business that I don't lose sight of who I'm doing this for. And I know that the She's Off Script woman is multidimensional, just like I am. I have a lot of interests that are connected to entrepreneurship, and I want to explore those interests within the newsletter because I know it's going to help me deepen my relationship with my audience, and it's going to help my audience grow further in their journeys as they're building businesses. So that is high level why I'm starting this newsletter, who I'm starting the newsletter for, and as far as what it's going to be about, this is going to be a way for me to aggregate a lot of resources that are going to be helpful to the off-script women, like news articles that they may have missed because they've been so busy with their day that they didn't look at the news. I'm also going to be breaking down trending topics so I can share my take on them and my perspective on them as it pertains to business building. And then I thought I'd also add some lifestyle aspects and wellness aspects because these are all the things that revolve around business building and entrepreneurship that do impact the off-script woman. So if you're interested in seeing what's going to be in that first issue, I'll have a link down in the description box so you can go ahead and sign up for it. It's free, of course, and you can unsubscribe anytime you want to. The next thing I did was look into the technology I'd be needing in order to build out and send out the email newsletter. Now, luckily, I already have an email list. I already send them emails. Although I'm not on a schedule right now, I do send out emails about my products, my services, and new content that I have coming out. So that's already set. The thing I had to decide is if I wanted to stay with MailChimp, which is my current email marketing provider. Now, I've been with MailChimp since the beginning, forever. I've never used anyone, but I've been hearing a lot of talk about ConvertKit. So I started to look into it, but ultimately I decided to stay with MailChimp because it's who I know. It's what I know. I already know where all the buttons are, how the system works. And I figure there's no point in adding an extra layer of complication when I'm starting something new already to have to add an additional layer of technology. But if you're trying to figure out which one to go with, I've heard great things about both. MailChimp was recently purchased by Intuit, so they definitely have a lot of features within their platform that I think are great for business owners. So once I settled on my email marketing provider, I also needed to make sure I had a landing page. I went ahead and purchased the domain name for Offscript Weekly from GoDaddy. I think they were having a special and it cost 19 cents, so it really didn't cost me too much to do that. I already have a website, so I worked with a person on my team who manages all the tech and website side of things to help me host the new domain name. Now, if you're brand new and you don't have any of that support, MailChimp is great because you can create a landing page right on there and it looks great. In fact, I did initially create a landing page on there, and I'll show you side by side what my MailChimp one looks like and then what my team created for me. It pretty much looks the same. And if you have a domain name, you can actually link your domain name to your MailChimp page right within MailChimp. And so they have everything you need. I actually was going to go with it, but then my team was like, what are you doing? We have a system and a process of doing things. So bring it over. Let us just include it with everything else. So it worked out well that way, but I don't want the technology to be a barrier for you if you're thinking about doing something similar because it's all housed in one place. So the next decision I had to make was, would I be sending this newsletter to my existing email list, or would I be starting from scratch? This is a very important conversation to have because it's a pet peeve of mine. I absolutely cannot stand when my email randomly lands on someone's list and they start sending me emails. I automatically will unsubscribe to them because I did not ask for the email. I did not ask for their content. I don't know who they are. And the same logic applies here. I want to give people the opportunity to opt into the email newsletter, even though they're accustomed to receiving emails from me about my content, about my services and products. I want them to choose it because in the long run, it hurts you as a business owner, especially if your business is an email newsletter. One of the metrics that you need to be focused on is your open rate. What percentage of people, when they see your email hit their inbox, are actually going to open it? Because long term, if you decide to monetize your newsletter and work with advertisers, they will want to know, if I pay to put my ad or my content in your newsletter, are people actually going to open it? So if you're looking for vanity metrics and you just want to tell people, oh, I have 10,000 people on my email list, but only 100 people ever open your emails, that is a problem. So I want people to choose to be on the email list. I want them to see what the email can offer to them and opt into it. And long term, even if they get busy and they don't open the emails as frequently as I would like them to, at least I know that everyone on the list is interested in this particular topic, as opposed to my existing email list. I have it parsed out, right? People have joined the email list for different reasons. They may have joined the email list solely because they want to hear about the She's Off Script podcast. They may have joined the email list because they're on the wait list for Side Business Lab and they're waiting for me to open it again. They're in there because of our membership and they're waiting for that to open again, right? There are a lot of reasons that people have joined the list, and I only send them emails based on the reason they joined the email list. So I want to apply the same logic to this newsletter that I'm launching. Next, I looked into branding. Now, this is a little easier than starting from scratch because this is under my Offscript Media umbrella. The same fonts, the same colors are going to apply. But given that I have a new name for the newsletter, it's the Offscript Weekly newsletter, I wanted to have some branding that's associated with the newsletter so that people would recognize a logo for Offscript Weekly. Now, because I did this all within the course of a weekend, right? I did not want to sit in it and be thinking through it too much, because that's a form of procrastination. When you research too much, you think too much. I just wanted to be able to jump into it and set it up. Mind you, I have been thinking about it for a long time, granted. So I've had a lot of notes tucked away, but in this weekend, I was just thinking, I just want to implement everything I've been thinking of. And I didn't want to have to wait for someone to turn around designs for me. So I went to AI. I went to Discord and found a tool within Discord called Midjourney. And within Midjourney, you are able to generate logos. So you can put in a few different prompts and descriptors about the kind of business you are and the vibe that you want, and it spits out different designs. And so I found one that inspired me and jumped into a tool like Canva or InDesign or Photoshop and just doctored it up for my brand. And it looks great. At least I think it does. Let me know what you think about the logo for the Off Script Weekly. But I figure it's great as far as starting now. If I need to spruce it up later, I could do that later, but for now, at least it's gotten me started. So if you're interested in seeing a video about the different ways that you can use AI within your business, not just for branding, but I found some great other uses for AI, let me know in the comments and I'll have a video out about that as well. All right, so next it was time for me to sketch out and mock out the actual newsletter. What is it going to look like in the body of the email? So I brainstormed all the different categories that I would like to explore. I brainstormed all the different things that I thought the off-script woman would be interested in seeing, and you could do that right within MailChimp. MailChimp is very much drag and drop, click and add, and you can move things around. It allows you to add the right colors, different fonts, different sizes, and that at least helped me visually see what it's going to look like. Of course, I'm typing everything out in a Word document, but you can copy and paste it very easily over to MailChimp. All right, next comes the fun part, and that is marketing. And this is going to be in progress for the life of this email newsletter. But if you know anything about launching, when you launch, can't be the very first time people hear about the thing you are launching, which is why if you're on my email list, if you follow me on Instagram or anywhere on social media, you already know that I'm planning on launching it. The fact that you're seeing this video on YouTube before the launch is also part of my pre-launch strategy. Is I'm getting the word out there. I'm letting you all know about the fact that this is coming, and I want to get you guys excited about it. So for those of you who are curious about what the journey will look like, you want to hear my numbers on a week-to-week basis, because I will be sharing them. I'll be telling you how many new subscribers I've added, what the challenges have been, how I'm marketing, which strategies have worked and which ones have not. I'll be sharing that all, and the fact that I'll be creating this video series and sharing with you every single week how things are going with building the newsletter is part of a marketing strategy. It keeps it front and center, and remind you to subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't already done so. By the way, the link is in the description box if you're curious what's going to be in that first issue. But that being said, it's important that you not only tell people once, but you give them continuous reminders along the way before the day of the launch. Now, some people would argue that I should have done a 2-week or a 3-week lead time, but I think for the purposes of what I'm doing, 1 week is okay, because I know it's going to be a build-up. I'm not going to get a big bang necessarily right out of the gate. But I will say I'm learning a lot from the newsletters that are already out there and how it is that they're using Twitter and LinkedIn and even Instagram to share snippets of their newsletters to generate conversation. And once they've generated conversation, they let people know, if you want to see the full post, or if you want to see content like this that I don't share anywhere else, go to my newsletter. And they're always at the end of their Twitter threads, at the end of their Instagram carousels or LinkedIn posts, they always let people know to go back to their email newsletter. So I plan on doing something very similar for myself for this newsletter. I want to keep it front and center for people. And that means that to begin with, I need to create valuable content. I need to create content that's entertaining or content that's insightful, that gets people talking, because there is a big viral component to newsletters that have succeeded. Because once people receive it in their inboxes, if they find something is really good, they will forward your email, and then those individuals will get onto your email list. Or if you share something from your newsletter on social media and it's really good, people will either share it or want to know where they can get more. So not only is it important that you stay consistent with it, but it's going to be important that you continue to improve on creating valuable content right out of the gate. So that's a big challenge for me, right? How do I make sure that I don't disappoint? Now, I know a lot of you are used to the level of content that we create when it comes to our videos, when it comes to our interviews on the podcast. So that is a part of our brand. And I want to make sure that that continues through to the newsletter. So keep me honest. Let me know what you think about the initial content that we're going to have in the newsletter. Now, the next thing that is in the back of my mind, but I'm not actively thinking about, is monetization. Now, if this is a newsletter business, a business has to make money. And there are three ways that I've seen that newsletter businesses are making money. The first is ad placements, where other businesses and brands pay to put their ads inside of your newsletter so that your audience can see it. The second is affiliate income. So for example, if you have a technology newsletter and you're sharing software or you're sharing cameras, computers, that sort of thing, you can put an affiliate link in your newsletter. So if people are interested, they click on the link. It doesn't change the price to your audience, but you get a cut of anything that they purchase. And that is a source of revenue for newsletters. And then the third way I've seen newsletters monetize is they start to offer their own products, whether it's merchandise, if it's an education-based platform, they would highlight their services and products within that. If they have a store where they have whatever they sell, they would also highlight that within the newsletter. So there are quite a few ways you can monetize, but first you need an audience. And I have no audience right now. So I'm starting from zero. At the time of filming this, I believe I've had 10 people opt into the newsletter. I'm starting from the ground floor. My regular email list has right around 1,500 people on it. As I said, if you're interested in seeing how this journey progresses, it is a bit of a social experiment that I'm doing here, but I'm excited because I haven't launched a new product like this in quite some time. And it's been a dream of mine to expand She's Off Script Media. And this is one step to expand the media company. So if you want to go along for the journey, be sure that you've subscribed and hit that notification bell, and stay tuned, because after we launch the first Off Script weekly newsletter on Saturday, I'll be back with another video letting you know how the launch went, letting you know what I could have done better, what I did great. All of the tea is going to be available in this Road to 10K series that I'm putting out. But thank you for listening to me share everything that I've done so far to launch the newsletter, and be sure to come back next week for another video. Bye.